What's up, my YouTube family? Welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and I haven't done one of these in a few weeks, but typically every Monday I take some time, go over some of the feedback you've sent the channel in regards to your gameplay. We talk about anything that may be happening in the game this week, and more importantly, some of the things we hope to hear soon. Now, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well. And remember, we are currently having a giveaway for an Xbox Series S. To enter, all you need to do is subscribe here or follow on Twitter, and the winner will be announced on April 4th of this year. So the first thing I'd like to go over really quick has to do with the specific Manhunt targets in the season, and there's been a little bit of confusion out there. So we're going to scroll over to Luna, and as you can see, it says there are 17 more hours while she is the active Manhunt target. Now, a lot of people think that the timer represents that's as long as you have to actually take out Luna as a target. That's not the case. You have all season long. The only thing the timer represents is the amount of time you have left while she is the active target, which means that's when you can gain that double XP for the first 15 shade levels. So if you have not done that by tomorrow, that's the only thing you will not be able to do. Moving on, my friends, I'd now like to talk about gameplay issues. So in weeks past, we've been talking about PC crashes and, the glitches and the cheating and stuff like that. And, for me, I usually play on Xbox. I've been very lucky and I haven't had too many issues. I had a few last week, but it's very rare. And it actually had to do with an Xbox issue, not an issue with the Division game itself. So I decided, you know what? This is the perfect time to jump onto the PlayStation, level up that character, and go from there. And my friends, I had nothing but it was just a dumpster fire for me from start to end while I was trying to play on PlayStation. I'm still having the issues now, and unfortunately, these are issues people have been dealing with for a really long time. So just to give you a small example of what I was dealing with, you can see here I'm firing away at an NPC, no damage is showing up. Even when it doesn't look like I'm shooting, I'm still pressing the trigger. And then you can see there's a burst of damage, the guy shoots across the room, and we go from there. And that was happening non-stop my entire gameplay. And needless to say, that makes the game completely unplayable. And like I said a moment ago, for so many gamers out there, this is something that happens on a regular basis. And it's really unfortunate, and I think the reason why people are so frustrated is because we were promised certain quality of life issues. And look, I can't really complain. I'm very fortunate. I do play on Xbox. I typically do not have these problems. However, I could name dozens and dozens and dozens of people that have reached out to the channel. They've said to me, look, we have this problem on a daily basis. This is why we're not playing the game. There's lagging, there's crashing, there are delta errors, there's whatever it may be, and it never seems to get solved. Now, as we move on, I want to mention a few things really quick. First of all of you know how much I love this game, the community, all of that stuff. It's probably one of my favorite games of all time, and this community is second to none. People working together, helping each other out. It's the best thing ever. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up has to do with the fact that one of the things I try to do with this channel is always give a fair and balanced assessment of a game, regardless of my own gameplay, because my gameplay is irrelevant. What happens to me doesn't matter. It's what's going on in the community, and I know for a lot of people out there, unfortunately, and again, this is not just on PlayStation, this is across all different platforms, they've been dealing with these issues non-stop, and it is my sincere hope that as we get closer to the new content, as we get closer to getting information, they're really going to make certain quality of life changes to the game, because like I said earlier, for a lot of people, the game is still very unplayable. And as we move on, it's important to point out that a lot of people haven't had any issues whatsoever, but if unfortunately you're in the boat where you have had some problems, let me know what's going on and I will try to help you out in any way I can. Last but not least today, my friends, I want to go over a question that a lot of you have been sending the channel for the last few months, and that is, what is our timeline going to be? When can we expect to hear something? Now, personally, I think we're going to be hearing something in the next few weeks or so, but here's kind of a breakdown of where we're at and what we hope to hear soon. So as most of you know by now, back in October of 2021, it was relayed to us by the game that they were going to be bringing us new content for The Division 2 in February of 2022. Now, clearly that hasn't happened. There's been a delay, and a lot of people are obviously wondering, when is that stuff actually going to arrive? Now, we also know that back in December, the game put out the following statement, and they said, with new content being actively developed for the game, our ambition has always been to continue to deliver the best Division 2 experience for our dedicated players and newcomers alike. In order to achieve this goal, we have today made the decision to delay the upcoming apparel event as well as the February title update to a later date in 2022. Now, first of all, in my opinion, and please let me know what you think in the comments section down below, I would much rather they take their time and get this thing polished. We've been waiting long enough. We don't want something that isn't really ready to be launched. So I would rather they take their time than just rush something, because for me, this should hopefully be worth the wait. They also go on to say, as we look to restart a more regular update schedule on the Division 2 moving forward, we want to build on the existing content and further polish our next update core elements, including the new game mode, season narrative, and new features. Now, the next statement, in my opinion, happens to be one of the most important ones. It says, due to this delay, this also means the PTS will be delayed. Rest assured it will remain an important milestone to the new timeline, as your feedback is extremely valuable to support us with the finishing touches to the update. Now, unfortunately, my friends, since that point, it has gone completely radio silent, as they said it was going to be. But I think what made it even tougher was due to the fact that we were finally getting some tangible information on the game. You know, we were getting things about the specialization revamp and the expertise system, and they hadn't even gone into the new content or anything like that. So to go from one extreme to another, I know really bummed a lot of people out. Now, this brings us to the current month of March, which we're in right now. And as most of you know, March has always been a big month for the Division universe. I mean, if we go back to 2016, that's when the first game was launched. Fast forward to March of 2019, we get the second game. March of 2020, we get the Warlords expansion. And then everything went sideways because of a global pandemic. And I do not care what people say, my friends. You cannot properly ship a game if you're working from home. It just doesn't work that way. So in my opinion, we are going to be getting so much stuff over the next year in regards to this game, because everything is finally playing catch up. I mean, if you look at gaming in its entirety, in my opinion, it's been probably the worst 2 years for gaming in regards to launching and survival and a bunch of different things that we've seen in a really long time. However, compare that to the first 2 months of this year. So far, we've gotten the launch of Elden Ring, which seems to have actually lived up to the hype. People, when was the last time we could say that about a game? We also have Horizon Forbidden West, which also has been living up to the hype as well. It's absolutely beautiful. Plus, we have the Destiny 2 DLC, The Witch Queen, which everyone is saying is like the best DLC they've gotten for the game so far. So again, now is a great time for gaming, which now leads me into what I hope we can see with the Division 2 over the next month or so. So now let's jump into what I hope we should be seeing over the next few weeks and as we get into the next few months as well. So right now, we know that Season 8 is going on, and it's much shorter than the previous seasons. I mean, the Seasonal 7 replay was like 22 weeks long. This one, I think, is a total of 10 weeks, so it's about 2 weeks shorter than any previous season we've had. Now, as of right now, this season is scheduled to end on April 26th of this year, and again, it's about 2 weeks earlier than a normal season would end. They also have condensed the events of the season. For instance, on week 1, we received the Manhunt target and a league, which is the first time we've actually had both of those in the first week of a season. Now, in my opinion, as we wrap this thing up, what I hope to hear over the next 2-3 weeks, whatever it is that we're going to be getting the return of the Intelligence Annex, but more importantly, we're also going to get a target date for that PTS and a new timeline overall. And as I start to wrap this video up, one thing you've heard me say a lot at the channel is if you're watching any Division 2 content, whether it's mine or someone else's, you obviously still play this game and you love it, and we're all eagerly awaiting that new content. And once again, in my opinion, this game is known for giving us a ton of information at once. I really think we're going to be getting some good news in the next few weeks, and I cannot wait to share it with you. And as always, I will keep you posted on anything I hear. With all that being said, my friends, I'm going to start to wrap this video up. As always, I want to take a moment and thank you all for your continued support, and remind you, if you have any questions, comments, feedback, please let me know in the comments section down below. I will try to get back to you as quick as I can. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this thing, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well. But most importantly, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.